During the pandemic, billionaires doubled their wealth while the middle class struggled. All the money in the world moved upwards, where there are fewer pockets, which made the pit much bigger. And this happened because to build wealth, you have to know the real rules. And to compound it, you have to control the rules. Otherwise, you're playing blind. So you don't need to work harder. That's another secret they don't want you to know about. What you actually have to do is to think differently. If you want to move up, you need to understand what they aren't telling you. This is for you if you want to build wealth, but you feel like you're missing a piece of the puzzle. You work hard, but you don't see the results you expected. Or you feel like the system is rigged, but you're not sure how to work it in your favor. If you don't understand these hidden rules, you'll spend your life working for someone else's dreams instead of your own. The sooner you understand how wealth is really built, the sooner you can start making moves that actually change your financial future. Number 1. Money loves speed, but the system wants you slow. The system is designed to slow you down. Banks hold your money for days, but they invest it instantly. Loans take weeks to approve, but private capital moves in hours. Everything in traditional finance is structured to keep you waiting, while those who know how to move fast get in first. If you want to win, you have to start thinking differently. When the market crashes, the rich don't sit around debating if it's the right time to buy. They have capital lined up before the news even breaks. Meanwhile, the middle class is still reading articles, waiting for the right moment, and getting lost in bureaucracy. Keep liquid cash ready so you're not scrambling when an opportunity shows up. Build relationships that give you access to deals before they're public. The biggest opportunities don't come with warnings or permission. They appear, and you either move or somebody else does. Number 2, inflation makes them richer. Now, inflation is a wealth-building tool for those who know how to use it. Most people feel it like a slow drain on their money. Prices go up, salaries do not, and savings lose value. But for those who understand how the system works, inflation is a way to multiply wealth without lifting a finger, because debt becomes cheaper over time. Real estate investors see property values rise while mortgage payments stay fixed. Business owners raise prices, passing that cost on to consumers, while their debt stays locked in at yesterday's rates. Stockholders watch companies adjust to inflation by increasing revenues, pushing share prices higher. The middle class struggles under these rising costs, but those who own appreciating assets see their net worth grow without changing anything. Inflation transfers money from savers to asset holders. The people who benefit from inflation are the same ones who have the power to control it. That's why it never truly gets fixed. Instead of fighting it, the smartest move is to position yourself on the right side of it. Number 3, they never save money, they move it. Now, money sitting still is money losing value. The wealthy don't save the way that most people think. They don't stack cash in a bank account waiting for the right moment. No, they move it constantly, putting it to work in places where it can grow. Every dollar has a job. It's either earning, compounding, or acquiring something that will appreciate over time. When they make money, it doesn't sit still. It flows into assets, businesses, and investments that generate even more. The average person is taught to save for security. The wealthy understand that real security comes from cash flow, not a pile of money losing value to inflation. You don't build wealth by holding money, you do it by controlling where it moves. Number 4, the stock market is not that risky if you own the right things. Now, the stock market is only risky when you treat it like a gamble. You jump in when prices are high, you panic when they drop, you find yourself constantly reacting to news. That kind of investing is unpredictable. It's an emotional roller coaster and it takes up a lot of time and mental energy. But if you focus on ownership rather than making a quick buck, then you will win eventually. Those who build wealth through the stock market don't treat it like a game. They buy businesses, not ticker symbols, and they focus on companies with strong fundamentals, consistent cash flow, and a history of growth. They buy quality investments and hold on to it through the ups and downs. That is how they thrive. You have to let time do the heavy lifting. Number 5, they invest in assets that ordinary people can't access. The ultra-rich don't just invest in stocks and real estate, they put their money into alternative assets, things that appreciate quietly while the average person doesn't even realize they're an option. One of the biggest? Blue chip art. Art, as an asset class, has been outperforming the S&P 500 for over 20 years. Historically, investing in high-end paintings from artists like Warhol or Basquiat was only for the ultra-wealthy. These artworks are treated like real estate, held for years, appreciating in value and then sold for massive returns. But unless you had millions to buy in, this was a market that was closed off to you. But now, with Masterworks, that's changed. You can invest in shares of these paintings just like you would with stocks. When they sell, you get a portion of the profits. Even in the recent market downturn, they sold an $8 million Basquiat painting. Investors have realized annualized net returns of the likes of 17.6%, 17.8%, and 21.5% from assets held for 1 year. Now, this is one of those wealth-building strategies that's been out of reach until now. Services like Masterworks have always had a long wait list, and traditionally only high net worth individuals were approved. But since you're an Alux subscriber, you're getting preferential treatment. Go to masterworks.art/Alux or scan the QR code on screen right now to skip the waiting list and invest in blue chip art today. Number 6. Your mortgage is their cash flow. A mortgage feels like security. It's a home, a long-term investment, a step toward ownership. But while you're making payments for decades, somebody else is collecting cash every single month. Banks don't hold on to mortgages. They package them up, sell them, and turn them into investments that generate steady, predictable income. Every time you make your payment, a portion of that money flows into the hands of investors who never have to lift a finger for it. While you work to pay off your loan, they collect passive income from an asset they don't even own. Interest is where the real money is made. So the key is shifting from paying interest to earning it. Instead of just thinking like a homeowner, start thinking like people collecting your payments. The real game isn't just owning real estate. It's making sure other people's money is working for you. Number 7. They bank on politicians, not lottery tickets. Wealth is built on influence. Laws, regulations, and tax codes don't appear out of nowhere. They are shaped, rewritten, and adjusted by those who know how to get close to people making the decisions. Control is a far more profitable investment than lottery tickets. A single law can save a corporation billions in taxes. Businesses and investors support policies that create stability and growth in their industries. They work closely with decision makers to ensure the rules support long-term investment, job creation, and economic expansion. The same way people network to advance their careers, companies and investors build connections to create opportunities at a larger scale. The economy is always evolving, and those who stay informed and connected are the ones who benefit the most. Number 8. Scarcity is an illusion. Now, scarcity feels real when you're caught up in it, right? Not enough time, not enough money, not enough opportunities. But the truth is, scarcity is often a matter of perspective, okay? Not reality. Like, money isn't scarce. It moves from one place to another following innovation, investment, and demand. Knowledge isn't scarce. It's more accessible than ever, waiting for those who take the time to learn and apply it. Opportunities aren't scarce either. They exist everywhere, but they don't always come with a flashing sign. They have to be created, recognized, and acted upon before they become obvious to everyone else. Scarcity is only real for those who accept it as their reality. The moment you shift from seeing limits to seeing possibilities, everything changes. Instead of competing for a small piece of the pie, you start looking for ways to make that pie bigger. Number 9. Your spending habits fund their lifestyle. Now, for every person swiping a card, there's somebody else on the other side collecting that revenue. This is how wealth is built, not by cutting expenses, but by owning the businesses that people spend their money on. The cycle is predictable. People buy coffee on the way to work, they stream content in their free time, they upgrade their phone every couple of years. These habits don't change, which is why the companies behind them grow bigger every year. The wealthy understand this, and instead of just being consumers, they position themselves to benefit from it. They invest in the brands that people can't stop spending on and own shares in the platforms that people use every day. Every transaction is an opportunity, and either you're the one making the payment or you're the one collecting it. If you want to be on the side that profits every time money moves, then you have to shift from a consumer to an owner. Number 10. You're their competition, so they have to manage you. Now, attention is the most valuable currency in the world. The more distracted you are, the easier it is to keep you in the same place. When your attention is locked into endless scrolling, breaking news, and entertainment cycles, you're not thinking about building wealth, creating assets, or making strategic moves. You're consuming instead of producing. Distraction is a necessary function of a system that thrives on keeping people too busy, too entertained, or too overwhelmed to focus on their own momentum. To build wealth, you need to have control over time, energy, and mental bandwidth. You have to use social media as a tool, okay, not an escape, and consume information with purpose, not as habit. You have to guard your time because you know that time, when used intentionally, turns into wealth. Number 11, they use life insurance as a private banking system. Now, instead of using banks, the wealthy store money in high cash value life insurance policies. That way, it can go tax-free and compound over time. And here you are thinking that it was just for protection. You should know by now that if something exists, it probably is because it benefits rich people in some way. Policies like whole life insurance or indexed universal life insurance, or IULs, have a built-in savings component called cash value. So every time you pay a premium, part of that money goes into this cash value account, which grows over time. The real advantage comes from borrowing against it. Instead of withdrawing that money and triggering taxes or penalties, the policyholder can take out a loan against their cash value without needing a credit check or approval from a bank. And the original cash value just keeps growing, as if it was never touched. This creates a self-sustaining cycle where money is always compounding, always accessible, and always protected. Number 12. Recessions are a planned transfer of wealth. When there's a recession, where does the money go? It doesn't just disappear, never to be seen again. No, recessions do not destroy wealth, they just move it around. When markets crash, assets don't disappear, they just change hands. Every downturn creates a moment where fear takes over, and those who don't understand the game sell off their investments, desperate to protect what they have. At the same time, those who are prepared step in and buy everything at a discount like it's Black Friday. When the economy is strong, debt is cheap and businesses expand. When the economy weakens, prices drop, interest rates shift, and assets become available at a fraction of their previous value. Stocks, real estate, entire businesses, everything that was once overpriced is suddenly within reach for those who have planned for it. Generational wealth is built during these crashes. We might not know when exactly the next downturn will happen, but we always have to be ready for it. Number 13, they rarely pay for anything out of their own pockets. So when you're wealthy, you've got the ability to structure your money in a way that allows your assets to pay for everything while your cash stays untouched and continues to grow. So instead of buying a car outright, you lease it through a business and turn it into a tax deduction. Instead of pulling money from your personal accounts for luxury purchases, you borrow against your investments, which gives you access to cash without needing to sell your assets. When they travel, they often do it through points, perks, or business expenses. A $100,000 purchase paid in cash is money gone. A $100,000 purchase funded through leveraged assets or tax-advantaged strategies keeps your money growing while still covering the cost. Ownership doesn't always mean paying full price for something, because control over money is more valuable than simply having money. Number 14, they keep you focused on income instead of equality and ownership. Now, you were probably taught to chase income, right? You were told to work harder, earn more, get a raise. And there's a reason for this consistent lesson. It keeps your attention on how much money is coming in instead of what's being built. High salaries feel like success, sure, but they don't create lasting wealth. Ownership does. But like we mentioned earlier, ownership is a threat to those who are already wealthy. The wealthiest people aren't focused on earning the most, they're focused on owning the most. Everything is structured to increase ownership because ownership compounds in ways that income never can. You have to shift your focus from income to equity, and you do this by thinking about where your money is going, not just where it's coming from. What percentage of your outgoing money are you using to grow your wealth? Because a paycheck stops the moment your job does, but equity continues to grow, generate income, and appreciate in value over time. And number 15, they create industries around your desires, then sell your own lifestyle right back to you. Now, every industry that thrives on a massive scale does so by tapping into what people already want, your desires. Happiness, success, beauty, status, convenience, none of these things are new needs, okay? But they are constantly repackaged, refined, and sold back to consumers in ways that keep them spending. Entertainment, fashion, wellness, personal development, every trend that takes off is a response to a demand that already exists. People want to feel productive, so an entire industry rises around planners, courses, and optimization tools. People want to feel attractive, so beauty, fitness, and luxury brands turn that into a billion-dollar market. Every major business understands this. Instead of fighting for attention, they align themselves with what people are already chasing after, and they make it easy to buy into the vision. This is why trends never stop churning. A new product, a new experience, a new standard, each one built on top of the last. And again, if you want to be on the other side of this wall, the side that actually makes money, then you cannot only be a consumer, you have to be a creator too. Just think about how when you want to save money, you have to cut costs, and that makes you feel miserable because you're missing out on things you enjoy. Now, wouldn't it be a lot more profitable to monetize those desires? Look at where the money is flowing, and then find a way to step into that space where it's already going. That's all from us today, Aluxer. We'll see you back here next time. Until then, take care, my friend.